Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Radha Radha Nata Radha, Radha Nata Radhe, Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Asatasara Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Asatasara Shila Bhakti Santa Saraswati Maharaj Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Giri Raj Govardhan Ki Jai, Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 16, Text 8. Deva varsati aso deva. Deva varsati aso deva. Nara deva vapurhari. Kricha prana prajahi esha. Raksisyati anja sendravats. Rakshasati anja sendravats. Deva varsati aso deva. Naradeva Vapurhari. Kricha prana prajahesha. Rakshasati anjasendravat. Deva varshati aso devo. Naradevo Bapurhari. Kricha prana prajahesa. Rakshasati anjasendravat. Can say. Devo varshati aso devo. Naradeva papurhare. Kricha prana prajahesa. Rakshasati anjasendravat. Devo varshati aso devo. Naradeva vapurhare. Kricha prana prajahesa. Rakshasati anjasendravat. Devo varshati aso devo. Naradevo vapurhare. Kricha prana Rakshasati anjasendravat. So we'll do the word for word meaning. Deva, when the distinguished Indra, when the demigod Indra, when the demigod Indra, Arvasti, does not supply rain, so that Deva Prithu Maharaj, Naradeva of the king, Vapu having the body, Hari the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kricha Prana suffering living entities, Praja the citizens, he certainly, Asa this Rakshasati will protect Anjasa very easily, Indravat like King Indra. So we'll do the translation. When there is no rainfall and the citizens are in great danger due to scarcity of water, this royal personality of Godhead will be able to supply rains exactly like the heavenly King Indra. Thus, he will very easily be able to protect the citizens from drought. So you may repeat, when there is no rainfall and the citizens are in great danger due to scarcity of water, this royal personality of Godhead will be able to supply rains exactly like the heavenly King Indra. Thus, he will very easily be able to protect the citizens from drought. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. King Prithu is very appropriately compared to the sun and the demigod Indra. King Indra of the heavenly planets is in charge of distributing water over the earth and other planetary systems. It is indicated that King Prithu would arrange the distribution of rainfall personally if Indra failed to discharge his duty properly. Sometimes the king of heaven, Indra, would become angry at the inhabitants of the earth if they did not offer sacrifices to appease him. King Prithu, however, being the incarnation of the personality of Godhead, did not depend on the mercy of the King of Heaven or the heavenly King. It is foretold herein that if there would be a scarcity of rain, King Prithu would manage to counteract the deficiency by virtue of his godly powers. Such powers were also exhibited by Lord Krishna when he was present in Vrindavan. Indeed, when Indra poured incessant rains on Vrindavan for 7 days, the inhabitants were protected by Krishna, who raised Govardhan hill over their heads as a great umbrella. Thus Lord Krishna is also known as Govardhan Dhari, the lifter of Govardhan hill. Om Jnaniti Mirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchikalpatarubhescha Kripasindubhe vicha Patitanam pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we're reading about the glories of King Prithu. We just finished, for those of you who are new to this, we just finished the chapter on King Vena. King Vena was a very cruel king, and he basically cheated the citizens, of their taxes, and he was a thief and like a thug basically. But he was instated as the king because there was no other person to fulfill that role. And so the Brahmanas, they were considering the whole kingdom is going topsy-turvy because of this king, and so what should we do, and they consulted amongst themselves, and they came to a proposition that, we should actually get rid of him and instate a good king, a good person on the throne. So what happened was they chanted some mantras, and in this way they were able to kill King Vena, and then they churned his body, and from his body came King Prithu. I won't go into the details of that, but this personality came, King Prithu, and King Prithu was said to be an incarnation or a Shaktivesh avatar, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of God, and an empowered personality. And in this way, the Brahmanas are now reciting, or the professional reciters are reciting the praises of King Prithu, and we are here now on text 8, where it is being described that when there is no rainfall and the citizens are in great danger due to scarcity of water, the royal personality of Godhead will be able to supply water exactly like the heavenly King Indra. Thus he will very easily be able to protect the citizens from drought. So we see that in order for our sustenance in this world, we need water. Water is a vital commodity that we require, to sustain our lives. And we know that this body is made up of 70% of water. So in this way, we need water to survive. Nowadays, there's scarcity of water due to, I would say, the infrastructure being vandalized and so on and so forth, that sometimes people go without water for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They go without water. And this is the reality of South Africa that we're living in. And, we have to tolerate. But luckily for us, living at the temple, Krishna has supplied us with enough water. In that, we have a borehole that supplies us with water, right? And if we don't have municipal water, then we actually have a borehole that we can, maybe not for drinking, but for washing and, like this. So we can actually use this water, right? And it comes through our taps, So in this way, Krishna has actually protected the devotees from the scarcity of water, because actually when you're doing deity worship, and then we have devotees cooking lunch for other devotees like this, so we need water all the time, right? And water is so important for the Hare Krishna movement and a big temple like ours, right? We really need water all the time. So then Krishna has very kindly provided us. If we run short of water, then we have at least the borehole water to sustain us. So in this way, Krishna, he looks after our every need like this. So in the Bhagavad Gita also, it is being described in verse 314 about water, and how water actually comes to the earth, and it is being described here in this verse. I'll just read the verse and the purport and try to explain wherever I can. Anad bhavanti bhutani prajnad ana sambhavaha yagya bhavanti prajanyo yagya karma samudvaha. All living bodies subsist of food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced from performance of yagya, sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duty. So you see the effect, how one produces the other, right? So it is being described here that all bodies subsist on food grains. All of us are basically, we need food to survive, right? Grains to survive, and which the grains are produced from the rains, right? We need rains in order to have grains to survive, and rains are produced from the performance of yagya, or sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duties. So rains are produced, comes down in the from the sky, because we actually have to perform yagyas to appease the Lord, and in this way the Lord provides us with the rain, and it is being described that yagya is born of prescribed duties. So living entities that are living in this world, they need to perform yagya or sacrifice for the Supreme Lord. So in this day and age, we perform the most efficient form of sacrifice, and that is Sankirtan Yagya, chanting the holy names of God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the most effective way in this age of Kali to actually perform a sacrifice, because in today's age, we do not have qualified brahmanas to perform Vedic sacrifices, in that the mantras has to be chanted according to a certain meter, and it has to be pronounced properly so that the sacrifice can take place. So previously people would just chant a mantra and the fire will be lit automatically, because Agni Dev is invoked and then there's fire. But nowadays, who can do like this? We cannot chant mantras properly. Therefore, the Lord has given us the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to chant, so everyone can, and in any part of the world, can chant this mantra and can invoke the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Krishna is non-different from his names. Krishna and his name is the same. The other day yesterday I was preaching to this little child, and I was saying, Krishna is right next to you, and to the little boy, Krishna is right next to you. He did something wrong. I won't mention what he did, but he did something wrong, and I told him, Krishna is going to be very angry with you. So, what you going to do now? He said, then he told his mom, let's go to the temple, Mom. Let's go to the temple. I want to say Krishna sorry, right? So, so in this way, he came to the temple, and he told Krishna he's sorry for what he did. So like this, Krishna is with us all the time. It's just that we don't have the eyes to see Krishna, but he's always there with us in his holy names. When we chant Hare Krishna, then Krishna is present in his holy name. So I will just try to Shishi Radha Radhanath ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll read this purport now from the Bhagavad Gita and see what Prabhupada has to say in this purport and try to explain. So he says that Sri Baladev Vijayabhushan, a great commentator on the Bhagavad Gita, writes as follows. I'm not going to read the Sanskrit because it's quite tongue-twisting. I'll just read the Sanskrit, at least the English. The Supreme Lord, who is known as Yagya Purusha, or the personality, or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifices, is the master of all demigods, who serve him as the different limbs. Who serve him as different limbs of the body serve the whole. So we see that the demigods are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are different limbs of the Supreme Lord. In order to maintain this material manifestation, then the demigods are there in order to supply water, in order to supply sunlight, moonlight. You know, the moonlight is very vital for the vegetables to flourish. It actually gives the vegetables taste. So like this, the moonlight and all the amenities that we need in this world is supplied by the demigods. And but they are just limbs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So it is being described in the Bhagavad Gita also that we shouldn't worship the demigods because Krishna is the root of all manifestation. Like you get a tree, right? You get a tree or a plant, and then you have to water the root, right, in order for the whole plant to flourish. So similarly, we need to worship the root, who is Krishna, and then the demigods are satisfied in this way, right? So let's continue reading. Demigods like Indra, Charana, and Varuna were appointed officers who manage material affairs, and the Vedas direct sacrifices to satisfy the demigods so that they may be pleased to supply air, light, and water sufficiently to produce food grains. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods, who are different limbs of the Lord, are automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are the past sinful reactions of the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. So in this way, Prabhupada is describing that the devotees do not worship the demigods, but they worship Krishna directly. And they offer, in this instance, the sacrifice that the devotees do. One of the sacrifices is offering our food to Krishna. So whatever we eat, we offer to Krishna. And in this way, Prabhupada says here that the body becomes immunized because it becomes Krishna Prasadam. And Krishna Prasadam has like an antiseptic property. The body becomes immunized from all sinful reactions, and so we get rid of sinful reactions, right? Although people may claim to be vegetarian, that's well and good, but they are also killing in that the plant or the tree basically dies at some point, and in this way they're actually stealing from material nature. Prabhupada calls them thieves, right? So we need to offer this back to Krishna, offer the vegetables to Krishna, and then it becomes prasadam. And prasadam is the mercy of the Lord, which Prabhupada says here that it vanquishes all our sinful reactions in the heart, right? Because from many, many millions of births we are coming with all our sinful baggage, right? Our sinful baggage. But eating prasadam will actually vanquish that. Not only eating taking prasadam, but also chanting the holy names and engaging in any type of devotional service to the Lord will actually rid ourselves of all these karmic reactions, right? We'll rid ourselves of all these karmic reactions. So, and this is one of the processes, is offering our food to Krishna. And let's read on. So, for this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are the past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. When there is an epidemic disease, and an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to material affections. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. So we find here that Prabhupada is using this analogy of the vaccine. You know, the vaccine immunizes the body so that the disease won't set in. Like, recently we had the coronavirus, right? And then many vaccines were produced in order to counteract this virus, right? So similarly, food taken by the devotees acts like a vaccine against karmic reactions, and it helps us not to commit any sinful action. So devotees of the Lord are basically immunized against karmic reactions, and they do not perform sinful reactions because the activities that they perform is there to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead at every stage. Whether one cooks for Krishna, cleans for Krishna, or do any service for the Lord, then that is immunizing us against the material affection of this material world. So, therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reactions of past material infections which are impediments to the progress of self-realization. On the other hand, one who does not do so continues to increase the volume of sinful action and thus prepares the next body to resemble dogs and hogs, to suffer a resultant reaction of all sin. The material world is full of contaminations, and one who is immunized by accepting prasad of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack, whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. So here Prabhupada is saying that one who does not do like this, they take body of dogs and hogs, right? And in the Bhagavad Gita also, in the 16th chapter, it basically talks about the demigods and the asuras, the divine and demonic natures, and people who are demonically inclined do not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they do not do like this. So they are basically degraded into lower species of lives like dogs and hogs, and it's very difficult to actually come up the evolutionary scale again and to attain a human body. So one has to start all over again. So it is being described that there's 8,400,000 species of life, and we have basically passed all of those, came through all of these species of life until we have attained this human form of birth. And this human form of birth is very, very rare, because the living entity, the human being, has higher intelligence, and he can think, he can decipher from right and wrong, and he can understand, what to do and what not to do. So in this way, he has higher intelligence, higher than the animals, and he can make decisions, right? And in this way, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, then he is actually the best of all living entities, because he takes the decision to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And not only just to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but to please the Lord, right? we find many people worshipping the Lord, right, in different ways and forms and names, right? The Lord has different names. But when you come to Krishna consciousness, you just don't worship the Lord. You try to please the Lord with whatever activity one does. When we please Krishna, instead of pleasing our senses for sense gratification, then that is called pure devotional service, right? When we please Krishna. So in this way, Prabhupada is saying that when we do like this, then the material world is full of contamination, and one who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack, whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. So yes, and then when they become subjected to contamination, then they degrade themselves into lower species of life, even to hellish life. So in this way, Prabhupada is protecting us by giving us this information of how we can actually make progress in spiritual life. So he goes on to say, food, grains or vegetables are factually eatables. The human beings eat different kinds of food, grains, vegetables, fruits, etc. And the animals eat the refuse of food, grains and vegetables, grass, plants, etc. Human beings who are accustomed to eating meat and fish must also depend on the production of vegetation in order to eat the animals. Therefore, ultimately, we have to depend on the production of the field and not the production of big factories. Right? Talking about big factories, somewhere else Prabhupada says that, we should till the ground, till the land in order to produce food grain. He says, you go to the factory to produce bolts and nuts. He says, when there's no food grains, you're going to eat the bolts and nuts. You cannot survive, you cannot eat this. So therefore you should till the land and you should produce food grains, right? And take care of the cows, cow protection, like this. So the field production is due to sufficient rain from the sky, and such rains are controlled by the demigods like Indra, sun and moon, etc. And they are all servants of the Lord. Right? The Lord can be satisfied by sacrifices. Therefore, one who cannot perform them will find himself in scarcity. That is the law of nature. Yajna, specifically the Sankirtan Yajna, prescribed for this age, must therefore be performed to save us at least from the scarcity of food supply. So Prabhupada says that, we should at least perform the Sankirtan Yajna, going out on Harinam, chanting the holy names and giving other people the benefit of the chanting of the holy names. So we find that, just by Prabhupada, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is being described that, whoever you see, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna in this way. So when you tell people about Krishna, then, you'll actually ignite the spark within their hearts, because all of us, all living entities, have this love of God that is within the heart, but now it's covered over by so many material contamination. But by preaching about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, about Krishna, then we can ignite the spark within their hearts. And even if they don't take it up in this lifetime, but in the next lifetime they will take up to Krishna consciousness. So therefore we need to go out there and preach. Right? And Prabhupada says, and in this way become a guru. Anyone can become a guru, right? Become a guru and preach about Krishna consciousness. So, some classes of people, they say that, we should only worship Prabhupada, we shouldn't worship anyone else. We shouldn't take shelter of another guru. But here, that verse from the Srimad, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is clearly being stated that to become a guru and preach Krishna consciousness. So anyone who preaches about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a guru. You don't have to wear a sannyas robe to become a guru. You don't have to carry the danda to become a guru. All you have to do is just preach, right? Preach whatever you hear from Shastra, whatever you hear from these books, right? From Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says just tell everyone about it. Preach about it. So in this way, you will get the benefit, and they will make benefit. They will make progress in Krishna consciousness. So both parties win. There's a win-win situation. Nobody is going to lose, right? So in this way, whoever we meet or however we can preach, we should actually do that. Like we have the food distribution. Devotees going out on Food for Life and giving out prasadam. That's also preaching. The Harinam is preaching, going out and giving the holy names, right? Book distribution. So Prabhupada has given us all of these ways and means to purify our existence in this material world, because this material world is full of contamination. As soon as you walk out the door there, you will hear news that you don't want to hear. You will hear things that you don't want to hear, that is contaminating to the heart, right? And we don't want that as devotees. We don't want that. We want to only worship Krishna and be in Krishna consciousness. Man manabhava mad bhakto mam yaji mam namaskuru. Always think of Krishna 24/7 a day. So in this way, when we think of the Lord, we are basically in the spiritual realm. We are aloof of this material creation, and we situate ourselves on the transcendental platform. So this we started off by glorifying Prithu Maharaj, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he was here, there was sufficient water supply, sufficient rains, right? And even when Lord Krishna was here, everything flourished. There was no shortage of anything. It was like the spiritual world, right? So similarly, when Prithu Maharaj was here also, but when King Vena was ruling, then the demigods withheld the rain, they withheld everything, the supplies to this material world, because he was so cruel, and he was basically, as I said, he was a thief and he was a dacoit, like killing people and things like that. Something similar to what our governments around the world are basically, accustomed to doing, thievery, and they take taxes from the citizens, but they don't supply, enough. They don't do their duties, basically, right? We find that the infrastructure of South Africa is basically collapsing. I'm sad to say that, but it's all comes from the head, from the state. So like this, you take toll fees, you take taxes, but you don't do anything for the citizens. What is this? So similarly, King Vena was like this also, and then the Brahmanas got rid of him, and they instated King Prithu Maharaj on the throne. And in that way, the world at that point, when Prithu Maharaj was ruling, it was like Vaikuntha, right? It was like the spiritual world, because all amenities were supplied, rain was supplied, and the sun god supplied sufficient sun, not too hot, not too cold, right? The moon also, he made all the vegetables succulent, and the water, there was sufficient water supply, like this, right? Air was clean, right? Today, when you go to Delhi and other cities of the world, the air is so thick with contamination, right? It is so polluted that, many, if we have to go to India, whenever I go to Delhi, because I have a lung problem, I always suffer with my lungs, So in this way, we find that, everything is so contaminated in this material world. And so therefore we should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and become immunized, from this material contamination of this material world. So Hare Krishna. If anyone has any contributions and like to add to this or questions, you may pose them now. Hare Krishna. Anything? Jvala? You always like to talk? Nothing? Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.